And Councilman, one of the things you mentioned earlier was the scholarship program. I think it's extremely important that you've taken the proceeds from the fundraising, from the ad book, from the dinner, and you've given it to young athletes in order to help defray the cost of either high school or college. And so tell us about the scholarships, and how can people get information about those scholarships?
Well, you could call Paul Dess, you could call myself at City Hall, Bill Reyes at City Hall. Charlie Shallcross is the chairperson of that committee. He goes out and he gets to the guidance counselors throughout the city, whether it's St. Mary's, St. Pat's, JEC, or Elizabeth High School. And we give these applications out to students, student athletes. We go through a process of selection. They have to maintain a certain grade point average. And once we get to 2 candidates, it's usually a male and female from, it could be either one of the schools. And we invite them to our dinner, and we give them a scholarship to defray their costs. And
Councilman, the number of people usually come to the dinner?
Oh, we usually get a big crowd. It's been up to 350, 375.
And the cost of the dinner tickets?
The dinner ticket this year is $70.
And where can you purchase the tickets?
You can call Recreation Department, City of Elizabeth. Paul Odessa would have that information. And
Councilman, it's always at the Westwood. Is it still there?
Yes, we've shopped around to different places. We found the Westwood is our best
It's been there for the last 10
at least
or 11
10
years,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And you know, the young kids that are going to get the scholarships, have they been picked yet, or they're not announced?
No,
yet?
They haven't been announced. We haven't gone through that process yet.
So they're picked closer to the end of the
yes.
End of the dinner, when the dinner comes up. And the dinner this year is April
29th. It's always the last Thursday of April.
Okay. It'll be April 29th. It's at the Westwood. And a souvenir journal. Do we have one of those this year?
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, because of the higher costs that we're incurring, and because we're giving out the scholarships, we're actually reducing, because we're not getting the ads we used to get. We used to get a lot of company support. We don't get any city support. We don't get any county support. We don't get any statewide support. So there's no public funding coming into us. This is on a voluntary basis. And we've always been able to get people to support our Souvenir Journal. But because of the economy and the way things are going right now, we're not really pushing it as hard as we used to. We understand businesses are struggling. People are struggling through our economy. And we're about to reduce the book a little bit, but it will still be a good book. It will still have...
Well, the one thing that's impressive is all of these people that come back together and share the stories about their days in athletics. And, you know, we've had people from John Shoemate to Luther Wright, who, you know, turned his life around. And it's got a great story to tell. I mean, here's a guy who was on the top of the world, crashed, and he's back rebuilding his life up again. He's working with kids and mentoring young people.
And I'm proud of him, because he actually was struggling, and he's actually been able to turn himself back around, and he's now a productive person in society, successful again, and we're looking to keep him that way. And hopefully this will help him out even more. And, you know, Mayor, I'm going to tell you something. It's unique how this has been set up, and it's even more unique how people will come from all over the country back to Elizabeth, back to the Elizabeth Athletic Hall of Fame dinner, to talk about the old times. We've had them as far as California, as south as Florida, as north as Canada. When Shoemate came in, he was coaching with the Raptors up in Toronto. They took the time to come back. We had, in our first class, we had UB Brown. He called me, told me that if he could make the dinner, he'd be there. Unfortunately, he couldn't make the dinner because he was doing the announcing of the Nets Bulls game. If that game was won, he was on his way to Cleveland, and he couldn't make the dinner. But you know what was nice? He sent his wife and his son.
Councilman, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us on the show, and lots of luck with the Hall of Fame dinner. I hope it goes real well on April 29th. Look forward to seeing you there that day.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it.
For Jose Aguilan with the U.S. Census, remember, fill out the forms that are in your mailbox. And Councilman-at-Large Ed Jackas on Elizabeth's Athletic Hall of Fame, I'm Chris Bolwage. We'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.